Hi, and welcome back to the road to React. Today we're going to talk about lifting state in React. And to be honest, to me personally, it doesn't even make sense. This title doesn't make any sense. But basically, what we're going to do is we're going to create a way for the three components to talk to each other. And if you guys remember, we have a app component, a search component, and a list component. So every time somebody searches within the search bar, and let me show you right here, React, remember what we accomplished last time. It will write out the text that we're typing in here in this span element or p element. So, as you can see right there, it's pretty cool. It doesn't refresh the page. But anyways, what we want to do is we want to make this search box actually do what it's supposed to do, which is search these items. So every time we type something in, only the items that match the search term or contain the search term will be displayed. That's all we're doing. And in order to achieve that, we got to be able to communicate between components, pass down certain props, certain functions through props, and that's what we're going to do. Okay, so with that said, let's just start adding our code to accomplish this. So let me pull up my reference code. Okay, let's start off with app component and see if we need to do any changes there. Yeah, so right now, app component, the list within app component, there's a list. We're calling on the list component, and the list component, we're passing down a prop called list that just set to stories, which is, remember, this constant that's like a hard-coded array, right, of stories. So let's change that. So instead of stories, we actually do something else. We filter out, we still return an array, but this array is going to be filtered out based on whatever is the current search term in the search box. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to change the name to search stories instead of stories, just stories. And what's going to do is we're going to use this built-in array function filter to filter out based on the current search term, right? Remember what search term is. Search term is just, at this point, search term is nothing. I just realized that we don't have a state called search term. So we also gotta add a state called search term that represents the current search term. So whatever is in the input box, that's what it's going to represent. So let's do that. Let's create a state. We're going to use state like we did last time in the search component, and we're going to place it maybe right here, right? So now we have a search term state. This is how you change it. And okay, cool. What else do we need to do? Well, whenever there's a change, whenever we call it handle change, which is whenever there's a change in the input box, whenever we're searching for something, we want to set the search term to the value. I'm just going to leave this console log in for now. Okay, cool. So now I think we should be good. We have this state, we're updating the state in the right place, and we're using the state in the right place in the right way. We're just filtering out stories, and now search stories is going to represent the filtered stories. Well, actually, we're still missing one more thing. We're actually never passed stories, the search stories, to list. So list still is referencing the old story. So we need to change that to searched stories, right? So remember what filter returns. Filter is just going to return an array. So this is the same as what it was here, where it was just an array of stories. So this is the same thing, even though we're calling on a function. But at the end, this function just returns an array. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the next component. So that's app component. let's move on to search component and see if anything changes there. And yeah, so one thing we can change is we don't need the state anymore. We moved the state out of search and moved it into app, and we're not handling any changes anymore in search. App is doing that. And what else? Yeah, and instead of handle change, we're gonna call on props that let's call it on search. And let's make sure this on search is being provided whenever we instantiate the search component, and it is right here. We're saying on search equals handle change. So whenever there's a change in the input box, in the search input box, it will call on this, right? Okay, I hope you guys are still with me. Moving on. So that should be, I think that's it for search. So let's move on to the last component called list. So let's minimize this so I don't confuse you guys. And all right, so what do we do in list? In list, we're doing nothing. It looks like, yeah, list just still gets a list of stories. You know, they're filtered out, so, but it's otherwise it doesn't do anything else. Cool. I think we're ready to test it. So let's test it out. Everything is saved. That's very important. As a new developer, it's so easy to forget about the small things, and that will just slow you down. So pay attention to making sure that the files are saved whenever possible. Let's refresh. Oh yeah, we got a error message. Great. So that way we can debug together. So search term is not defined. App.js line 53. App.js line 53. That would be right here. Search term is not defined. Yes, duh, because we got rid of the state within search, so we don't have that anymore. Cool. So let's test it out. So if I start, remember, it's searching the titles. So React is a title, Redux is a title. So if I search for node, nothing. What if I start typing in just the letter R? Ooh, okay, so that worked. E, that worked. Now let's do A. Oh, cool. See, if I type in React, it works. Redux, it works. What if I just type in UX? Do we get Redux back? Yep, because it contains it. Pretty cool, right? Look how fast it is. This is amazing to me. Act. All right, cool. And I believe that's it. The last thing I want to show you guys is this this image that Robin drew, and it's just actually, you know what? Let me just move this image over here, and it's this image right here. So all this is saying is that app, whenever there's a change in search, the input box changes, app gets notified, right? Something within app gets updated because we're calling on that function within. Okay, so that box stays there. So we're calling on this handle change within app, and then app will update list because list depends on search stories, and search stories is filtered based on search term. What I'm trying to say is whenever there's a change in the input box, it comes here in handle change app component. We're updating the search term, and any place that uses a search term will also get updated. And where is search term being used? Well, it's used in search stories, which is like right here. And then that triggers any place within render that uses search stories. Where in render do we use search stories? Well, it's right here in list. And then list component gets updated. Okay, cool. All right, that's it. Till next time. Don't forget to subscribe.